Another thing I'd like to say is that this year, if possible, we really want to advance the immersiveness of the games. And I'll be talking about that in some other videos or other parts of this video and what that means. But basically, this will be our 4th year. And so we will want to, as much as we can, accumulate really good-looking, realistic props and weapons. And a lot of you have been making or buying your own foam swords and plasti-dipped swords, which is wonderful, and EVA swords, and I'd like to make the rest of the stuff more like that. It's hard because I don't have a lot of time to craft, and most of the equipment I have is duct tape, which is fine for certain things at this point in the game, especially for NPCs or for sidearms, stuff like that. But this year, as much as we can, we want to move away from duct tape swords. We'll still probably have plenty of duct tape axes and spears and shields and things. But for now, let's focus on, if we can, each of us who use swords, making or buying or borrowing some more realistic looking weaponry. And I'll talk about this more later. Let me see. What else was I going to speak of? Oh yes, and armor. I think it's time to move away from duct tape armor, because that is probably the least realistic of any prop that we have. And I know I made a lot of duct tape armor in the past, but in the past several years, we've been able to get some better looking foam armor and some metal armor and some leather armor, and it's time to move on. Armor will be important this year. I will say that, because with the new combat system and its emphasis on realism, if you don't have armor, you're probably going to die pretty quick. So it will be important for either for you as a player to find armor, or for you as a character to find armor during a game. Just depends whether you want it before the game starts to keep with you, or something that your character rents out for a game or something, or steals off a goblin carcass or something. Excuse me. Yes, armor will be very important. Make sure you can get something comfortable, because that puts off a lot of people, is the comfort thing. And for that, I'd recommend, if you don't have chemical issues, finding an old sweater and spray painting it to look like chainmail. And they actually do this in movies for certain side characters. I'll find an example for you and show you and insert it here. Another thing you can do is just take craft foam. You know, the little sheets of craft foam that you get and you've used in Sunday school or whatever. Anyway, you can cut those out into scales or squares or feathers. Katie did some awesome looking bird armor out of craft foam, and it was really neat. But anyway, craft foam is a great, inexpensive way to make armor. Just glue it on to a shirt or something and paint it, and you'll get a great bang for your buck. And a lot of you know Phineas Smith, and the Smiths have, especially Phineas, have been making a lot of EVA foam armor. If you want to know what that is, or you want to know about more of that process of building, talk to him or talk to me, and I can help you talk to him or whatever. He's been making some awesome stuff, and he's been commissioning things. So, or things that people have been commissioning things from him. But anyway, yes, we want to increase immersion, get people involved in crafting their own stuff, or getting their stuff from other people who craft their own stuff, so that we have really realistic, fun, believable games. And yeah, that's my 2 cents on immersion.
Okay, so I said I was going to give an example of materials for faux chainmail. Well, I don't know if I said it, but here they are. You can't see the grain of the material very well, but this is an inexpensive option for armor, if you're interested. You can crochet. That's really cool. April crocheted this for me several years ago. Then I spray painted it. And I don't wear it because I'm kind of sensitive to having spray painted material close to my skin. And I know someone else who had a reaction to it. So, but most people would not be a problem. But you want to be careful. Here, just some close-ups of material that you could spray paint to look like chainmail. You would want to cut the collars off and parts of the sleeves. One thing I'm thinking of doing, and if you do have a chemical sensitivity, like me, I'm thinking of putting the spray painted mesh onto another piece of fabric so that I don't have the mesh touching my skin. So it's like a, you know, if you've seen The Hobbit, Bard, how he wears that chainmail jacket where the chainmail is actually stitched onto a vest underneath. So I'm thinking of doing something like that for myself, or to share with other people. Anyway, just an idea.